What's up, guys? Coach AB Anthony Bevilacqua here with a new episode to help you gain some good quality muscle. All right, today we're going to be discussing 4 muscle growth hacks that I've discovered over my 20 years of working out. I really wish I would have known this when I was younger because it would have made my journey a lot easier. So let's roll right into it. So number 1 is increase your volume. So whenever I talk about volume, the typical way volume is tracked is the amount of weight you lifted for the amount of sets, the amount of reps, and that gives you a certain amount of tonnage, and that's the tonnage that you would use. That's your overall volume. But the way I do it, because I like to keep things a lot more simple, I hate overthinking it, and I don't like math. For some of you that know me, know I don't like math, but the way I keep track of it is sets per muscle group. Okay, so if I'm doing chest and I'm doing 15 sets of chest a week, then that's what I'm focusing on. Okay, 15 sets of chest. All right, so part A and B to this is when I talk about total volume, I'm talking about the sets per muscle group. So the first thing, you need to increase that. Okay, don't be afraid as a natural lifter. Do not be afraid of overtraining. It does not exist. You can't physically do that, right? Like it's just not going to happen, right? I've broken every rule when it comes to training. I've done a lot of stuff, and as a natural to test all these things out, and overtraining is a complete myth. So I would definitely argue that if you're doing 10 sets of chest a week, let's just say, you could definitely benefit from doing more. Okay. Again, you could go into that where you're looking at your junk volume and overall total sets, and like, am I wasting my time with this movement? Am I not? Am I getting things out of this? But you want to have an idea. It's just like tracking macros, but for your workouts. Okay. You should be able to rattle off, okay, I'm doing 12 sets a week for arms. I'm doing, 10 for biceps or 12 for quads or whatever it is. But you want to know. And if you're more into you want to get stronger, then you would track it per lift, right? I'm doing X amount of squats a week or an X amount of push. There's a lot of different ways you could kind of break that volume down, but you want to have the idea of what that is. So track that volume, okay? Track that volume sets per muscle group. Again, I just wish I did that. But by doing that, it also gives you an idea, okay, is this working? Are my biceps coming up? Are they improving? Okay, no, maybe I need to add more volume to that. Maybe I need to add another set every day or whatever it is. But overall, the sets per muscle group is the most important part. You need to keep track of that. And like I said, if you're trying to get stronger, then maybe it's sets for pushing movements or vertical pushing or horizontal pushing, bench press. It doesn't matter as long as you're tracking what you're doing. That's basically the main thing. And don't be afraid to challenge the science. Science says, okay, 12 sets a week is ideal. Whatever the number is anymore, 8 sets, 12 sets, whatever it is, challenge that. Okay, maybe, but for you, it might be different. Maybe you need to do X amount of sets for biceps in order to improve that muscle group. So, same thing. If you're looking to bring up an area, increase that volume. Don't be afraid of overtraining. It doesn't exist. And like I said, if I was talking to my younger self, just train hard, track your sets, and you'll make progress. That's exactly what I would tell myself. So, that's number 1. Number 2. And I love this one. It's find the exercises that you feel. Okay. For me, and again, I'm just talking to my younger self here. For me, just because Arnold did the pec fly, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the most out of doing that exercise. So you need to experiment with your body and find out what exercises that you feel the most in that targeted muscle. So for me, and I'll use myself as an example, with biceps, the biceps are an area that I'm really trying to bring up, and it's just, I've always had skinny arms, so it's one of those things I'm always trying to improve my biceps. So what do I do to improve my biceps? Well, Arnold did a lot of heavy cheek curls, but for me, I get 0 out of that. It's too much front delt, and I just don't feel anything in my biceps. Whereas when I do spider curls, basically if you don't know what a spider curl is, you're basically lying on an incline and you're curling up, but when I do spider curls, I get tremendous activation. I feel that muscle group working, and you want that. So that exercise, I get more out of doing spider curls than I do out of cheek curls because I'm activating the biceps more. So you need to find exercises that you feel in that targeted muscle. If you don't feel it in that targeted muscle, chances are you're probably not getting anything out of that. And again, as a natural lifter, you need to really focus on that, and I'm going to cover that in a little bit. but you just need to remember that. Now, if you're trying to get strong and we're focusing on powerlifting, that's a little different, right? You're trying to move the weight from point A to point B. So like, for example, when I'm doing squats for powerlifting and I'm trying to get a really, really strong squat, which I have as a natural, I was close to 600 pounds in a squat. What I want to do is I really just want to move the weight from point A to point B, but my quads don't necessarily are burning when I'm doing them. But if I was to shift and focus, if I wanted to bring up my quads and focus just on the shape and definition and the overall structure of my quads, then I wouldn't do barbell squats for my quads. I would focus on hack squats, because for me, hack squats give me tremendous activation in my quads. So you need to find those muscle groups for you. This is why I always say your body is your own experiment, and you need to experiment with different things in order to find this stuff out. So find those exercises that you feel in that targeted muscle and ride them out. Don't change anything. You don't have to change anything. All right, because I'm spoiling all these as we go. So the third one, the third muscle hack that I wish I would have told myself when I was younger and what I've discovered over 20 years is, again, to improve your mind-muscle connection. I've trained with a lot of guys over the course of the years, and some of the best guys that I've trained who had the best physiques, naturally, from what I know, they don't train really heavy. Like, they don't go crazy heavy with the weights. Like, in particular, one guy I know, he used to do like lunges with like 30 or 40 pounds on his back, which is like nothing. And when I used to work out, I'm like, can we add weight? And he used to always tell me, you need to feel it. You need to make this weight feel heavy. And I always thought that was cliche, but it's so true. And again, kind of overlap into the second one that I said. You need to be able to feel it and develop that mind-muscle connection to the muscle group that you're trying to bring up. So for example, like I said, if I'm focusing on biceps, I need to put my mind in my biceps and really feel everything. One of the people who are on he's big on YouTube. He's one of my old partners, Pete Kacharian. He's my brother-in-law actually as well. But he had given me one of the best pieces of advice when it comes to growing your biceps. And he said to me, well, you have to approach the bicep the same way you would a heavy squat. You should be a little bit nervous before you're getting up to the curl, and you want to squeeze everything when you're doing it. You want to get the most out of it. And I couldn't agree more. Your mind and how you actually execute that movement for you is going to be unique. So that's why, it's very hard to grow your physique naturally and just to overall get a really good physique, because there's a lot of experimenting you have to do and a lot of weird things. Sometimes people look at you in the gym and maybe you look totally like you're looking at them like, what are they doing? But maybe they're really activating a muscle group that's how they feel it. So you have to find that same thing for you, but you need to focus on mind-muscle connection. You should be able to flex muscles. You should be able to, like right now, like I'm flexing my bicep and I'm trying to really push out the whole bicep. And like if I twist my wrist, I feel a little more squeeze. You need to be able to do that. You need to be able to like flex everything, go through and kind of take an inventory. But the stronger that connection is, the more developed that muscle group is going to be. All right? And number 4, and I kind of went out of order here, but number 4, and this is the most important one, and if I was talking to my younger self, I'd say, Anthony, once you find a movement that works for you, do not change that movement. Ride that movement out until the end of time. Because if it works, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Again, like I said, I've done a lot of things because, well, Arnold will do heavy cheat curls, so that's exactly what I need to do. And that's not what I need to do, because cheat curls, I get 0 out of them. So you need to do the same exact thing. Find the movements that work for you and never change them. And this is from, I guess, like P90X, but like you have to confuse your muscles and do all these different things and change your routine. No. There is time that you should have in your routine and built out where you're kind of like experimenting with new movements, right? And maybe you drop a movement to add a new one in to see if you get stimulus from that. But you overall want to have like a good base of exercises that you should keep in your arsenal that you're using consistently. So like, for example, let's say I wanted to do a barbell drag curl for biceps for a couple weeks. Maybe I would start that on my deload, I'd add those in, and then I'd build up for it and then say, okay, over the next couple of weeks, either I'm feeling it or I'm not feeling it. If I'm not feeling it, then I just get rid of it and that's it. And I'm sorry if you guys hear a lot of jingling. My dogs are here and there fighting and the jingling from the collars. But yeah, you never want to change exercise. So let's summarize these 4 things, because I want to implement my 20 years of experimenting to get my body into you right now. So 1, increase the volume. Track your sets per muscle group and increase that. And then see, okay, is this working? Is it not working? Then take it away, do whatever you need to do. If you need to bring up a muscle, add sets, okay? That's the only way to do it. Number 2, I forgot what order I went in, but I'm just gonna go. Don't change your exercises. Again, find the ones that work for you, don't change them. Improve your mind-muscle connection. Number 3, you wanna make sure that you really feel the targeted muscle. And the last one is find those exercises that you really, really feel. Sorry, they all kind of overlap, so I kind of like a little confused there because they all overlap and I don't know what I said and didn't say. But again, like I said, you want to make sure that you find those exercises that you feel and ride them into the sunset, because that is going to give you the best development and ultimately help you to build your physique in a natural way. If you're interested in taking yourself to the next level, click the link down below for coaching. If you have any questions, drop them below. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.